Hi guys, this is Anna, and I'll be talking to us about a topic that I experience every day. So in this video, I just want to talk about some of the realities of living in Australia that nobody tells you, and I see it quite a lot in when people ask me questions about this and about this. That's when I actually realize people actually don't know how Australia works. And even my friends at home, some of these things that I'm going to talk about, I think they really don't understand the differences of living out here. And these are some of the things that are unwritten. I mean, things that I've just I've had to go through and just learn. And I feel like, some of these things nobody actually tells you. You just actually realize later that, that there are things about Australia. One thing for sure is the fact that I find it that a lot of my friends ask me, why are you not coming to visit? And I have some of my friends who people ask them, oh, you've been in Australia for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. And I mean, when you move from your country, like when I moved from Kenya, I knew and I thought in my mind that I'll be able to go home after like 2 years or so to visit. Because, of course, homesickness is a big thing that happens after you move. And if you've watched my video on the stages of settlement, especially the first stage, when you're trying to settle in, this is a thing that will happen a lot. You feel homesick, and people will just tell you, come home. So the first reality that you may not know is it's not just easy to pack and go. It's not just easy to say, look, I'm coming home or I want to go home. I mean, once you get here, you realize you've got bills to pay, you've got settling in to do, you've got work commitments. You may actually need leave. You may need to apply for leave before you travel, and sometimes that leave may or may not be approved the time that you want it done and stuff like that. So it's not just easy to pack and go. And I say this because I know of a family member that has said to one of my friends before, oh, you've never come home and stuff like that. But people don't realize the struggles of living in this place. People don't realize a ticket is easily $3,000, one single ticket. So if you have a family of five, that's about, on minimum or thereabouts, you'd be coughing out 15,000. That's just for tickets. It's minus upkeep. It's minus, travel insurance. It's minus quite a lot of things that you will need. Of course, family, you may need some gifts and stuff like that. So it's quite an expensive affair that a lot of people just decide, look, we'll do it next year, and next year comes again, people say we'll do it next year and stuff like that. So it's not easy to pack and go. And remember, when you're away, especially if you don't have leave, which is something that may happen if you take unpaid leave, is you may actually not have an income coming in, and you've got bills. I mean, you've got a mortgage, you've got electricity bills that don't stop just because you're on holiday, you've got water bills, you've got land rates and stuff like that. So the bills will always be there, they'll always pile. So you've got to plan yourself before you travel and go back home and see your extended family. You've got to plan your finances really well before you travel, because it is definitely not cheap. The other reality is, I have found out that resilience in Australia is not an option. Okay, resilience is not an option. A lot of times, it is not an option. You just have to do it. You just have to be resilient in whatever it is that you're doing, be it in a new job, be it in school, be it in whatever it is that you've come to do in Australia. You've got to be resilient. I mean, there's no other way around it. You get tired, you make have couple of shifts. You may have to provide this and this. You may actually be supporting your extended family, and a lot of times you just want to feel like throwing in the towel. I know many times I've gone like, why am I even striving? Why am I doing this double shift? Why am I working every day? But then you realize, you've got things to do, you've got targets to meet, you've got this and this. And so you just have to eventually decide what will work for you. How much will you push and strain? But in general, either way, you have to be consistent. You have to be resilient in whatever it is you're doing. If you're a student in school, remember you've got to go to school, you've got to go to work, you've got to engage in the community as well, because the community is what will support you when things reach a hit bottom. So you've got to be involved in activities in the community. You've got to go to church for your own sanity. So I mean, you have to divide yourself into various ways to make things work. And a lot of times, of course, it's not easy. I won't lie. Settling in is not easy. Living in Australia generally is not easy. So I always tell people, if you have friends and family in Australia, remember it's not easy for them. Call them, guys. Call them. Ask them, how are you doing? How can I help? Can I send you this? Are you in need of food? Because a lot of people just assume because you moved to Australia, you've got the money, you're the one to support them. Sometimes people will actually say, oh, they've not done this for me, they've not done this for me. But they fail to realize that you've got your own bills, you've got your own life to live. And it's not easy. I mean, especially for a single family, it's not easy with kids in school and a student family as well. Life can be tough, extremely tough in Australia. So remember, call your loved ones, call them, check in on them, make sure that their mental health is sane. I mean, it's good and stuff like that. So yes, it will be hard. But what I know for sure is life gets better as you move from your student visa to work visa, from work visa to sorry about the son, as you move from work visa to permanent residence, and then as you move from permanent residence to citizenship, and as you make your connections, be it at work, be it in the community, be it in other things that you're doing, things will make more sense, you'll feel more comfortable, and your resilience will bear fruit. So if you're just starting life and you're at that point where you're extremely discouraged, I want you to feel encouraged, because it will make sense someday. I mean, I was in your shoes not too long ago. I used to be homesick. Initially I had a single job, and finances were tough because I was settling in, I was supporting my extended family as well, and people just knew that I am overseas and stuff like that. But I had my hard moments. I had my moments when I cried. I had my moments when work was difficult. I had my moments, but I just kept on. I mean, you have to keep on. You have to move from day to day. You have to trust God that things will be better. And several years later, I must say, without a matter of doubt, things are better. The income is better. Life is better. I've got friends that not a whole lot, but I've got friends that I can count on if I'm in trouble. And I've mastered my art a little bit more. So I'm happier going into work and stuff like that. So trust me, it will get better. Sorry about the sun, guys. Sorry about the sun. Trust me, things will get better. Let me just do this so that the sun is in my face. Things will get better, and you will learn to, adjust to life and stuff like that. The fourth point that I've found very important is find your tribe. Okay, find your people, and I must say, be selective. And by that I just don't mean the selectiveness that I don't know. I want to make this clear. Find your tribe. Find people that will walk with you. And I will say this, in my life, in moving in Australia, I have worked with people at various stages of my life here. There are people that have helped me to settle. I remember when I had my son, we were just 7 months in the country, and I didn't know many people. I remember I only knew my friend, one of my friends I met at work, and she was Kenyan, and I was just chatting with her in the staff area, and telling her, and then I didn't look pregnant. A lot of people didn't know I was pregnant, but then I was just chatting away with her, and I was telling her, look, I'll be having a baby soon. I'm looking, where do you think I can find this and this? And guess what, guys? She told me, Anna, I've been waiting to get rid of my kids, my baby's stuff, and I didn't know I was hoping to put it on Marketplace, but you can have everything. She gave me a bed. She gave me a mattress for my son's bed. She gave me a stroller. She gave me a lot of things that I really did not even think I needed. So that's why I'm telling you, God will provide people to walk with you along every step of your life, every stage of living in Australia. But you've got to find the people, that you will walk with, people that will be with you, because there are again people in Australia that are not pro development. There are people in Australia that can easily derail you. There are people that are always partying. There are people that, if you're a student, there are people that will not help you, meet your needs as a student and stuff like that. So you've got to be selective who you're hanging out with. Are they in agreement with your virtues and your beliefs? Are they partying throughout? Are they into alcohol and you're not? Are they into drugs and you're not? Or are they believers like yourself? You've got to have something in common, because in this place, I always tell people, you come alone. If you're to be sent back to your country, you'll be sent back alone, you and your family. So you've got to remember, regardless of what everybody else is doing, and if you're a student, everybody else is getting, boyfriends and stuff like that. They're missing classes and stuff like that, and they're just derailed in the academics. Choose whatever you want to do, because at the end of the day, when your visa is in jeopardy, it will be you alone, unfortunately. So you've got to choose your tribe, you've got to choose your people, but you've got to be selective as well in who you hang out around, and also who speaks into your life, because starting life can be difficult. You don't want people that will keep telling you how life is difficult, how you can't do this, you can't do this. You've got to hang around people who will speak your name in closed rooms, people who will say, you hear somebody wanting a photography gig, who will say, I know so and so who does photography. You hear somebody who says, I'm looking for somebody that can arrange this place and stuff like that. So if you have an area of gifting and it's an area that can easily become a hustle, a side hustle, then people that will shout out opportunities for you to be able to reach out. People that will tell you there's a locum somewhere that's well paying. Do you want to come? There's a job offer somewhere that is like this, like this, like this. Do you want to try and get in and stuff like that? So at the end of the day, the people that you hang around will determine how far or the altitude you're going to take here in Australia. So it's very, very, very important to know that, and to ensure that you're hanging out with the right people. The next point that I must say is that I've found is the reality in Australia, is the fact that loneliness will always be your companion. And especially when you're starting life, I remember when we started life, it was just me, my husband, and my kids. I was fully pregnant. No, I wasn't. I came when I was like about 3 months in, and we didn't know a lot of people apart from my friend Sylvia and a few other friends through her and stuff like that. And I remember, despite having some friends around us, despite having the church and stuff like that, we still felt quite lonely. imagine somebody like myself who was so used to going to church, hanging around church on Sunday. I mean, I would go in early, then I would be part of the worship team, and then after worship team, we would make tea for the congregants, and then would hang around chatting, laughing, and then I would definitely have people over for lunch at home, and my Sundays was a super full. Okay, and then now here I am after Sunday on a winter month. You're going home to your big house that is so I don't want to say so empty, but physically, but so empty in terms of like it's just you guys. I mean, it's cold. It was not easy. I mean, yeah, and this is something that a lot of immigrants will experience the loneliness, the trying to settle in. It is something that is quite constant, I must say, guys. And before you find the people that you share your life with, there will be moments like that. And again, there will be moments when you will even feel lonely in the midst of people, especially when you're missing your loved ones. I mean, you're missing, for me, I always, have this thing that I'm always missing my mom. I'm always missing, I'm just missing home. I mean, I'm always missing home, and that's a thing that will follow us as migrants or immigrants. It's something that will be with us for the time that we live overseas. You'll miss birthdays, you will miss weddings, you'll miss baptisms, you'll miss important milestones, you'll miss your nephews being born and stuff like that, which are things that are important, I must say, to me. So there are days that you just want to be with your mom. I mean, you just want to sit on her lawn and do nothing and probably eat sugarcane and just laugh away, or sit with your siblings and just chat away, and with your friends and cook meals, sit, eat, laugh. And you may not have that, so a lot of times you may actually just feel lonely and homesick, but that's part of it. Unfortunately, that's part of it, and it's a part that is not going to go away. Unfortunately, it gets better, of course, as you interact more and as you settle in more, but it is something that will always creep up on you every now and then, and it is something that you will always feel. It is something that you will make you question your choices. You'll wonder, hey, me, I have times when I've said, Kwani, what was I missing in life? I have times when I'm like, hey, I could still, I have friends who are doing really well at home. I could be like them. I mean, because I believe I had work everywhere. I would still, if I was in Kenya today, I believe I'll still work hard and try to make a name and a career for myself as well. So there are always be times when I question my choices. There are always times when, you're like, was it worth it? But again, like I said, as you settle in more, those questions tend to get lesser and lesser. And even as you settle into your career, your way of doing things, things sort of, get better. And I think the other reality that I must say is a lot of times, what do you call? A lot of times, you will need to offer some, prayers or whatever it is that you believe in. For me, I have found like my refuge has been in a lot of times through prayer. My refuge has been in a lot of times through reading the word and stuff like that, and mingling with people that know the Lord and that trust God with me, people that we pray together and stuff like that. So I have found that sometimes, I know, many times, even as we work here, the way litigation can be quite high. And sometimes you leave work and you're like, oh my God, what just happened? What is that happened? Is that patient going to complain? Is that patient going to put in, sometimes you give your all. I mean, there are days that you give your all to a patient. You take like 2 hours, 30 minutes, time that like in general practice, somebody has booked a 10-minute appointment and they stay up to like 40 minutes, making your whole day run behind. And because you want to do the best for them, you give your best, you go out of your way, and then you still hear down the track that they were not happy. Reason being because you build them a double appointment instead of a single appointment, which is like, I'm just like, for heaven's sake, you took a lot of time, you were running behind the entire day, you were up and down, you were consulting on their behalf, you were doing things for them, and you thought that they would be happy and appreciate it. But then they put in like either a review or something like that, and they're not happy with your service or with the fact that they've been asked to pay or something like that. So, I mean, there will always be those moments when you come home and you're like, God, why did I even do this? Why, Lord, why? And for me, I have found, because sometimes, as much as your loved ones love you, they may not understand the struggle. Trust me. My husband's very supportive, but sometimes, I imagine that he doesn't understand, like, this medical field, how things work. My eldest daughter is also very understanding, and sometimes, she'll be like, do this, do this. But then I'm like, it doesn't work that way. I can't call in sick because I have a full list. I know I am tired, my brain is tired, and stuff like that. But I have a full, almost, this number of patients booked in. I have to see them, and yeah, it's easy. I mean, so sometimes your loved ones may not understand you, but for me, I think as a believer, what has always helped me is the fact that I can go back to prayer and go like, God, just help me, because me, I don't know what to do anymore. This is where I am at, and I really need your help and stuff like that. And I know you've got to believe in something. As a human being, you've got to believe in something so that when you're in trouble, you can, count on that to be your fortress. The other reality that I must say is you've got to be your own greatest supporter. People here are so busy. People are so busy with life. People are running around. People are doing double shifts. I have very good friends that we are close. I mean, we can talk almost every day, but we haven't seen each other for like 1 week, 2 weeks, or something like that. Reason being, they're busy. And also, the time that they're not busy, I am busy. Our schedule is just not agreeing. And so, unless you make a deliberate attempt to meet up with one another, you won't be able to. So you will find that on a lot of times, you've got to support yourself. You've got to be your greatest cheerleader, because sometimes if you wait for people to reach out to you and do this for you and take you out and do this for yourself, for you, it may not happen. So you've got to decide, oh, I will do this with my daughter on this day. I will go out with my husband on this day. And you just make it a regular habit. We'll go to church together on Sunday, and you will do this. And if you're successful in one way, like let's say, you've excelled in your studies and stuff like that, celebrate yourself. I mean, pat yourself on the back if you've made a difference at work. Pat yourself on the back if things have worked out where you didn't think that they would work out. Because I think encouraging yourself and supporting yourself will keep you going, because sometimes you wait for people to notice and to say something nice, but a lot of times people can just see what you haven't done or what you've left out and stuff like that. So you've got to support yourself within, and also support your loved ones, because that's all you've got. You've got to support your children. You've got to be there for their activities. You've got to support your spouse. I mean, one thing that I find so difficult to understand is when you get a couple that, and you find people that are not wanting to support one another. I mean, we are in a faraway land, away from our loved ones, away from our close friends, away from our cousins and aunties, away from house helps and stuff like that. And so you've got to just help one another. I mean, there are no male roles, there are no female roles in this country. You've got to support one another. When the kids are small, you've got to shower them, you've got to feed them, you've got to pack for school, you've got to take turns to look after them at night, you've got to take them to birthday parties and stuff like that. You've got to avail yourself and take time off work to do these things because, like it or not, you have to be there for your family, like it or not. One person cannot do this in Australia. One person cannot run a household. One person cannot be there for everything. You've got to distribute the jobs and the tasks. Otherwise, there will be conflict in the family. Like it or not, there will be conflict in the family. There will be conflict in the family. Okay? So I think one other reality that I have found out is, and I'll finish off with this, is you wouldn't know the strength you have until you move to Australia. You won't know the strength you have unless being strong is the only thing you'll have to do. This Australia can show you things, guys, and it's good for people to be aware, because people always just imagine that Australia is a land of milk and honey. No, Australia is a land of opportunities. Don't forget, it's not a land of milk and honey where you think things will fall from heaven like manna in the olden days. No, Australia has a lot of opportunities, but you know what? You've got to seize those opportunities. Without seizing them, you won't enjoy life. And without being strong, you've got to be strong. You've got to show up. You've got to push. You've got to push. I get people who say, oh, I've tried look for one job, it has not come through. I have tried this, it's not working. You cannot have that softish mentality in Australia. You've got to go hard at it. If you're searching for a job, you've got to push and push, annoy people to the extent that they will give you something, so you're out of bothering them. If you're looking for an opportunity somewhere, whatever it is that you're looking at, you've got to be strong enough to chase it. For students, you've got to, oh my goodness, guys, I don't know how much I can reinforce this, but without being strong in Australia, you're not going anywhere. Without being strong in Australia, you're not meeting your goals, you're not getting your papers, you're going nowhere. So you've got to be strong, and you've got to push, push, and push until you have reached the goal that you want. Some of us, our goal is just to finish our masters. Some of us, our goals is to get papers so that we know that our kids' futures, and we can stay. We can know that we are here to stay, and stuff like that. But we've only managed to do that by pushing and pushing and being resilient and holding on, and and just being so present that opportunities are not passing you by. Okay, so don't come to Australia thinking it's just easy. These things, you need to know about them so you're well prepared. My mantra is, if you prepare well, you're likely to be successful. So there you go. These are the realities in Australia that you may not know, that I want you to know, so that you're well prepared and so that you settle in better in Australia. Thank you so much for watching, and I really appreciate your constant support and your constant encouragement. Bye.